Wait, I can't start the show like that. Now I can start the show. Hey, what's up, everybody? Good afternoon, good evening, and all those other joyous salutation things that happen. I am live right now with Connor from OK Fame, who looks like a... You look very rapist in that right there with that, like, that's right there is the... Yeah, that's a...
Either that or the Nakamura feeling himself up. It's one of the two. To ball.
He sniffed himself after he did it. Imagine that if after he punched him, he kind of wiped around, and then when he got done, he went... And then, like, licked it and everything.
Best heel turn ever.
I'm going to throw up now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Outta Nowhere, episode number 97. Is that right, or did I mark this wrong? I might have marked this wrong.
I don't know. I think you did. I think you got it right. I was checking earlier.
Really? I thought it was 98. Maybe it is 97. Fuck it, even if I didn't get it right. Outta Nowhere, 97. Nope, it's 98. This is episode 98. I marked it wrong.
Damn.
So let the record know that this is actually Jesus. This is actually Outta Nowhere episode number 98, 2 away from 100. So
holy shit.
Jake DeMarco's still doing all the doctor stuff, getting his head worked on, and just probably suffering through some just unbelievably excruciating and horrible pain. And because I want to fix something right now, I'm going to go to a phone call because of that. And we'll see what the first call of the night has to say. 321, what's up?
Yo, what's up, Joe? Long time follower here. Hey, I want to know what you think of the SmackDown in general, like the product.
My bad, donation played. Hang on a second. I'll replay in a second. Wait a minute. What did I think of what? SmackDown what?
What do you think of SmackDown this week?
Well, okay, so I'm going to assume that you didn't see the SmackDown review. But because of that, I'll talk about it. So I thought SmackDown was great. You can watch the SmackDown review. I went through the whole thing about SmackDown, but it was more exciting than Raw, I thought, and it was better than Raw because they set up stuff to happen next week. I feel like Raw didn't really do that. Raw sort of spent more time almost plugging the greatest Rumble or whatever instead of setting up next week. So I thought SmackDown got better people, and I thought SmackDown was more exciting. So I think SmackDown won as a show and based on who they acquired. I feel more excited about the SmackDown brand than Raw. Although Raw had been the better show for the last 8 months or whatever it's been. So what do you think about that?
Yeah. What do you think of what they're doing with Samoa Joe? Because I feel like that's kind of confusing because, like, I know he's feuding with Reigns, and I know he cut promos on Reigns the past 2 weeks. And like, I'm just like, well, why would they put Samoa Joe on SmackDown if he's going into a program with Roman Reigns?
Well, here's why, I think. Because even if he does, like, let's say he does end up facing Reigns going forward in the future, which it sounds like he's going to. Remember, these are dual-branded pay-per-views now. So I said this on my Raw review. I think you're going to see a lot of times where there's going to be a match or two that's going to be set up to cross over. So, you know, they'll be, just like how Asuka was challenged Charlotte at WrestleMania, they sort of booked that match, but they didn't really have a whole lot of interaction. The same thing's going to happen. You know what I mean? Because it's a dual-branded pay-per-view, so they can have Samoa Joe versus Reigns still. I think, unfortunately, I think that makes for more lazy booking, though, because then they don't really have to tell too much of a story. The story is the match, again, is happening, and they're on different brands, so it's crazy. But, yeah, I think that's all it's going to be. Is they've already they set it up on Raw. Now he's talking about it on SmackDown, and at some point he'll face Roman, and they feel they've built it now.
Yeah. And another thing, I mean, I did catch some of your review. I thought what was really good about the show, like, because I've seen clips of the show and shit.
Right.
I thought what was really good about the show was Nakamura's heel turn, how they're like going about his heel turn. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, he's so much more interesting.
I didn't think it would work at first.
Yeah, I could see how you'd say that. I mean, it's so much more interesting, though. Yeah, it's because he wasn't doing the best ring work and wasn't doing good promos, so he had a lot of hype and charisma. So now we've sort of elevated that. Now the promos are a lot better, and that will make the matches a little bit more interesting. And well, everything has gotten better with him. He still has a long way to go to what he really should be and could be, but hey, it's gotten better. Connor, what do you think about all that shit?
I mean, his main roster run's been shit. So if you look back up until like the Royal Rumble win, everything up until that point on his main roster run has been garbage. Ooh, he feuded with Dolph Ziggler. Ooh, he lost to Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam. Then he randomly tag teamed with Randy Orton for some fucking reason. Yeah, great fucking run so far. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is exactly what he needed to do. And it's just funny how like the most epic over-the-top low blow is the thing that's getting him over more than and saying that he can't speak English. Fucking hilarious.
Dude, that low blow. I think it was recently. I think it was because I've been listening to a lot of shoots from Bret Hart. I think it was Bret Hart who said that he hated that sort of cheesy, like low, long underhook. Like it was always better when you really hit someone. And Bret Hart was referencing WrestleMania 13 when Stone Cold like kicked him in the balls, and it just seemed so vicious, like in real. And so I'm picturing Bret Hart watching Shinsuke do this uppercut shot to the nuts thing, and him just at home like, fucking goddamn this dumb shit. Like, you know, he's just mad about everything.
I give that low blow a 4 out of 10.
Whoa, that was a 4 out of 10. If I was working in WWE Creative, I would have said, you know, really hit him hard and fast, like make it nasty, like a drive-by to his testicles, you know?
But it's his facial expression that sells it too, because he like does that and he like looks around like, oh, like that. Like the whole thing is just, it's so over the top. That's why it's getting over. I mean, that, and we needed the fucking heel turn. But that on the thing of the pay-per-views, by the way, remember the last time they did the Superstar Shakeup? Payback was like right around the corner. And it was really fucked up because it's like, okay, but he's on Raw and then Smack, then they have a like it's all a clusterfuck. So I think that once we get through the greatest Royal Rumble and then Backlash, I think everything will probably smooth itself out as far as the fucking pay-per-views, because that's I think they're doing this on the fly as far as the shakeup again. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy with most of the decisions, but it just seems a lot of it is very impromptu.
Yeah, no, I like that too. But yeah, I don't think they really 100% know what's going on yet. And I don't like that. Again, I don't like if Ziggler and, McIntyre, do the same thing as, you know, the Big Cass and the Miz. I mean, but you could see that happening. It's like the same crew. I would rather if Miz benefited from Big Cass beating up Daniel Bryan to where the Miz could capitalize on Bryan, you know, getting heat on Cass, which is furthering the heat for the Miz. But they don't actually need to both come together. I mean, hopefully, I'd like it to work that way.
Yeah, you could do a whole thing where I think it would be clever in like the first month if there just happens to be a circumstance every single week where Daniel Bryan and Miz just don't like cross paths, or like, let's say Big Cass attacks Daniel Bryan backstage and Miz just walks by and goes, "Oof, that's fucking unfortunate," and then just walks away. Like stuff like that. Like little tiny teases, and then eventually it gets to that point.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Let me play. I'm sorry. Let me replay. Null Death's donation, guys. If you want to donate tonight, the link is in the description box down below. Hit us up with your questions and all that other shit. Patrons asked questions earlier. We're gonna go to the patron questions in a few minutes. And if you guys want to donate, the link says Streamlabs. Unfortunately, Super Chat is still not active because YouTube sucks ass, and they still haven't activated it, even though we're 40,000 hours over the 4,000 mark. So we're 41,000 hours over the 4,000 hour requirement, but YouTube is delaying in reviewing so we can have monetization on this channel. So we've had no monetization on this channel for even WrestleMania's 80,000 views or whatever. So fuck you, YouTube. But anyway, let's play Null Death's donation that I missed. If it will play. Will it play? Is it going to play?
Played earlier.
It did play earlier, yeah. I thought I could replay it. Oh, wait, it's playing right now. I muted it. My bad.
Monetize these testicles. It's time for Out of Nowhere. Sup, Joe and OK Fabe. Jake is here in spirit. SD Live has all the talent Raw got owned. We need a Nakamura the pervert donation. Hashtag ham to balls, fist to box, tongue to anus. Sorry,
Tongue
I don't
to anus,
speak
I love that.
English.
Did you say mouth to anus?
He said, tongue to anus, I don't speak English. Fist to box.
Oh, my God.
and hands to balls. That's lovely.
Null
I
Death,
love
what's
that.
up? Shout out to Null Death, who is the big bad moderator now, too. So Null Death will take you out. Although we really don't ban almost anybody. You know, you got to be really...
Fist to anus.
Fist to dick. Dude, if he said fist to dick, I would probably freak the fuck out.
I'd buy that shirt. I'd buy that shirt instantly.
Yeah, fist to dick would sell really well.
Can you imagine like him doing like a creepy face and it's just a giant fist like this? Like it just says fist to dick.
There's like a X over someone's privates.
That'd be great.
We got and yeah, man, and Bruno Sammartino passed away. What the hell, bro? I didn't even hear that he was sick. You know, it's what a fucking this guy was. How long? I don't even know how long he was champion, but I just always knew that he'd been the champion for like the longest time.
His first reign was 4 years combined. It was 8,000 days.
Oh
overall.
my God.
Yeah, whenever I heard the passing, I did a ton of research throughout the day. So I watched like a couple of documentaries. I watched like his interview with JBL. I watched his Hall of Fame. Like whenever something like that happens, I always love learning the history of stuff. So like his fucking story is insane, let alone his wrestling career. Like I don't know if you remember that he said like he fled from the Nazis as a kid. He almost died twice. Like fucking surreal if you actually hear his story.
That is crazy. I've heard some. I went through a little binge of listening to Bruno maybe a couple years ago or a year ago, I want to say. So I just forget a whole bunch of stuff. I just know that, you know what I mean, around here he was always around here, man. New York, the Boston area. Like, he was such a fucking big name. Like, anybody that was older that I'd be like, I watch wrestling, they'd be like, oh, I don't know. You know, but if you bring up Bruno Sammartino, they knew who he was. Like, you know what I mean? Andre the Giant, Bruno Sammartino, you know, guys like that, everybody would know. And this dude was like
the first big draw too, like before Hogan.
Yeah. He was. I mean, really, yeah. He was like the John Cena of that time or whatever. But it's like, and he had values, dude. Like he was. You ever seen the shit he said about Vince? Like, and then during that sex scandal, dude, he just went in on Vince. He didn't give a shit. He was like, nope, this is bullshit.
I'm kind of glad they patched things up and they got him in the Hall of Fame. Like, I know the Hall of Fame is kind of like a publicity thing, but still, it's nice that they patched things up at the end. So
yeah, that's what was amazing. They got him in there. They can't get fucking Vader, and they couldn't get China. I mean, she was a little more fresh, I guess, but you know they couldn't patch things up with all these people. You know, Macho Man. You know, Bruno Sammartino finally after and those things that he did to Vince in the '90s weren't that long ago either. You know, when Macho Man left, Bruno Sammartino's stuff he did to piss Vince off was a couple of years before that. He went on the Phil Donahue show too. I remember that. I
remember that. Yeah.
How weird is that too? That we all kind of brush all that under the rug in a weird way, and it seems like these certain guys are adamant, like this went on, and this is weird. And
look at what's his name? Fucking Billy Graham. Oh my God, the rants that Billy Graham have had in the last like 5 years. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And he's fucking. I don't know if you saw his documentary, but like they did the whole thing where like this was like right around the time he was inducted, which was around like 2004. They did a biopiece on him, and they talked about how his liver was like, it looked like a fucking piece of meteor rock. It was like just jet black and like it was disgusting. And he got a liver transplant, and most of that I think was because of WWE. And then he like turns it around, and he's had some very he fucking like just blasted Ronda Rousey recently, like saying like bullshit with like Piper and all that fucking stuff. Like fuck her for using Piper's. I'm like, what are you talking? Like he just goes on like insane rants, and like it's just weird.
I guess didn't Piper give her all the? I thought Piper gave her all the permission to like hey, do all this. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still like fuck her for taking all that. I'm like, what? He gave like the son was there. The son Colton was there at the Rumble when she debuted, giving her the jacket, saying this is Dad's. Here you go.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. That seems to be okay. I mean, I thought that too for a little while. Even when I still see her, I kind of think that's weird. But you know, I don't mind Ronda doing it, but I'd be mad if I hate when other wrestlers start to try to be the old wrestlers. It's like, no, we need new people that are their own things. What the hell? But Ronda can do it because it's a different thing. On the phone is Courtney. What's up, Courtney?
Hey, I just wanted to call and pay tribute to my fellow Italian, my paisan, Bruno Sammartino. He was just an amazing guy, even though I didn't get to be alive during his career. I did watch and study a lot of his matches, and he was a great shooter. I mean, that's one thing that a lot of people do not realize is that he shot on a lot of people and did things that were just amazing. Like you were just talking about, you know, escaping the Nazis in World War II in Italy. You know, that is just amazing. And the fact that shows you that there is such a thing as fate in this life, because you know, he could have easily been snuffed out then, but he didn't, because he was destined for something much, much greater. And also about Billy Graham, I'm actually friends with him on Facebook, and actually kind of unfollowed his stuff because he's just so old and so bitter about everything. It's like he never has a nice thing to say about anyone. It's always a bitch. It's always a complaint. Yep. And it's like, dude, let it go. It's just kind of like Bret Hart in a way, because Bret Hart is bitter and he's always like everything's a 4 out of 10 and that's his new gimmick. But you know, it's like what, you know, what does that do? It doesn't do anything. All you're doing is downing someone else to make yourself feel better, because you're mad that you had to live off of steroids and everything else to get where you were. And these people are now, for the most part, not doing steroids. They're all natural. And they're doing things with their God-given talent that you couldn't do. And that's one thing that he needs to be called out on seriously. It's like, bro, give me a break.
Brett's hilarious. Like, he's so mad at stuff. But then he's got good points about many things. But then he just kind of buries people out of, like Triple H sells like shit. He's a terrible piece of garbage. But I've got a picture of
He has some hate for Hunter. It's obvious. Like, he does not like Hunter. He does not like Sean, even though they may act like they have patched up things. He definitely has some hate with all the shade he throws.
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird, because he's like, yeah, that match was pretty good. I could have used that. Shawn Michaels is a cocksucker. Like, what the fuck?
No, he'll just be like, you know, just like Sean, and you know how they are. And like, it's like they patch things up, but he still doesn't, you know, he doesn't forget whatever. But it's just he's got a picture of himself above his bed, though, probably. So
yeah,
probably
got
once plastic film on it.
Yeah, but once again, you know, rest in peace, Bruno. Rest in power, for sure. I mean, a lot of us Italian wrestling fans tonight are sad, but we know that he did live a full life. He lived far beyond a lot of people in his time period. You know, a lot of those people were dying in their 50s and 60s, but he managed to live to 82. And that's something that we should all aspire to. Like, he was always very healthy, always in the gym, you know, and that just proves the point that, you know, a lot of these wrestlers that die young, you know, you hate to say it, but, you know, you got to look at their lifestyle and things that they did. So he was a great role model, and still is, for everybody that's still in the business, I believe, anyway.
Well, today WWE uploaded that cage match he had back in 1980 with Larry Zbyszko, and I remember seeing it years ago. And the funniest thing is that, you know, Bruno gets kicked, like in the stomach, or it was like a low blow or something. And he comes over, and Larry's about to get out of the cage. And, like, Bruno is still selling like he's dead. Like, he's holding his like left arm or something, and he's selling like he can barely walk, and he gets over to the cage and he uses one hand to grab Zbyszko and throw him backwards, and then as Zbyszko hits his head and falls over, and Bruno Sammartino still is on the floor selling everything. It was it was like desperation. It doesn't look, when Guy gets up and like goes to the cage and it looks so planned that, oh, now he's going to get up to stop him from getting out of the cage. That just looked like so real because it would look like he was desperate to stop him from getting to the cage. And that was something I always remember that. And I'm like, I wish they did a little more of that in cage matches and even in ladder matches where it feels like they're planning this whole thing. And that just was so real that he was selling everything. He was like, fuck, oh, and shoved them back in. You don't really see that anymore, especially in a cage match. So, yeah, man. I love Bruno. Hey, I'm like 12% Italian, so that means something.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks, guys, and I hope y'all have a great show tonight.
Thanks, Courtney.
Thanks. There was one I was watching with Bruno where, I don't know if you heard about this story, when Stan Hansen broke his neck.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There was a huge upheaval about it because there's actually a picture, you probably can find it, where like it shows Sammartino, like he's fucking ginormous with the muscles, but he's got like the brace on, the halo, pins all over him. It's like, and he got nuclear heat because obviously kayfabe was still strong then. And then the other one I saw was him and Kowalski. He hits him, and Kowalski when you see them like leg sweep a guy, like brush his legs, like, and they kick him out from underneath him. He like punched him, and then Kowalski like flipped his legs up like he was super selling. Like, what the fuck was that? But the crowd was popping for it because Kowalski was such a heel back then. It was really cool stuff.
Yeah, that. All I can think about is Zbyszko, just talking about how he was a little boy and he looked through the bushes and.
That's right, because Zbyszko was like the what do you call it, the fucking, like, the big fan, like the number one trainee, and then he turned on him. I remember that, yeah.
No, but you remember Zbyszko's like Hall of Fame speech or whatever it was?
Yeah, it was kind of a little.
It was weird. It was like he's like, and then I saw Bruno Sammartino, and who would have known a kid like me who wanted to be a wrestler would run into Bruno Sammartino, and the bushes would open. It was like a magical shit bomb. This is fucking hilarious.
Samoa Joe is a huge pickup for SmackDown. They won the shakeup, in my opinion. Do you think Nakamura will win the title at Backlash?
Bry Guy.
Oh my God.
Bry Guy, thanks for the $5 and becoming a $5 shit bum. I think he might win the belt, maybe. I don't know.
He'll win at the Rumble first, then they'll do a rematch at Backlash. Because Backlash is fucked, I think.
Yeah, Backlash is totally fucked because, again, this is just like Extreme Rules last year, where Vince created something different. It's no death. My name is Kane, and I'm donating.
I am legit marking the fuck out for the match possibilities for SD Live. Samoa Joe versus the entire locker room should be a thing. Also, hail Nakamura is fucking hilarious. He really needs a fist to balls shirt. Hashtag RIP Bruno Sammartino and Barbara Bush's Bush.
Bruno Sammartino and Barbara Bush. Yeah, I said earlier, right now, Bruno's Sammartino is in Barbara Bush's bush. So it's really hard to get all that out.
Weren't you just like saying like, wow, I can't believe Barbara Bush is alive like a couple of days ago?
Seriously,
he said that
on my Morning Madness episode on Patreon. I was like, wow, it's such an amazing thing that Barbara Bush is still alive and like she looks really good and everything. I wonder what she's doing to stay alive and to keep everything. I swear to God, a day later, I think it was the next day. I was because
I saw him like, no way, Joe's fucking like when was this put out? Like he fucking called that.
Yeah, it was bizarre. Like it seriously was the next day.
Oh my God!
And I was recording Morning Madness like, oh, she looks so good. And I was like, what the fuck? She's dead. I was like, I told Leah, I was like, I just talked about her last night. When would I ever talk about Barbara Bush?
Apparently at the funeral.
Now it is, yeah. So, what do you think about this greatest Royal Rumble? Because I think, like we said, it's going to be the Great Balls of Fire, and Backlash is going to be Extreme Rules.
Yeah, where like it's that pay-per-view. You're like, holy shit, where the hell did this come from? Did you see the arena pics so far? I mean, the stadium's fucking huge. I didn't realize like how big a venue they were at. Like the thing's massive. Like they haven't finished building up the stage yet, but I was like, Jesus. And so after seeing that, I'm like, okay, now it makes sense why they're fucking pumping this card with so much crap. If you guys haven't seen it, it's almost the same size. I feel like it looks like the Superdome. People
thought this stage was going to be the WrestleMania stage. That's how crazy like this is. Why?
I mean, I guess they really want that Saudi Arabia money, apparently. I don't know. Like, I'm gun shy because we all said that WrestleMania was going to be so fucking epic, or at least like a very good one, and it ended up being what it was. And so now I see this really stacked card. AJ Nakamura, Triple H, Cena, Taker, Rusev, Lesnar, and Reigns in a cage. And then a 50-man Royal Rumble where you get to win a fucking trophy for, apparently. I mean, it's a pretty stacked card. I just don't know. I don't want to give my hopes up on the whole thing, you know? But I mean, they could pull it off, but I'm still a little gun shy from WrestleMania.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gun shy too, because yeah, it wasn't very good. But dude, I really think like Mania was so bad that this could be better for sure. Which is
what was the pay-per-view that really fucking Battleground. That was atrocious.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, I
think that's what Backlash is gonna be.
My name is Kane and I'm donating.
What's up, Kane?
Hey Joe, sorry I haven't been able to donate, but Jake said since he's out of town, he's going to lock me in cage and left me lube a dildo and a picture of him.
Oh.
But Jody Shinsuke still needs a manager, or do you think this might work without one?
Which picture?
Yeah, I mean, he could use a manager, like somebody to talk for him, and then he goes roguish all the time. That could work. Joe's male sex slave. But also,
I don't think he needs it at this point.
I don't think. Yeah, right now he doesn't. This is way funner to watch. I think it's.
Oh, yeah. My wife has real tits. You fucking fag.
Dude, this guy made a fucked up song. I'm telling you. I'm gonna play it on Monetize This. Fucking Young Republican is out of his fucking mind, as we've known on this show for 4 years now or something. But.
They haven't burned the house down for the last video I saw. Jesus Christ.
Here's another clip from Young Republican.
You New York piece of shit.
He sounds like Corey Feldman in that.
Oh my god, yes.
You New York piece of shit.
But even in his whole song, like, it's just weird. He sounds
shit
like
bum.
Young Republican.
What will be the main event for SummerSlam?
I think it's going to involve Lesnar. Maybe.
Fuck, what would be the main event?
What do I want to be the main event, though?
What?
I don't know.
Oh.
How about,
I think you're saying, like, do you know?
I want heel Roman Reigns against Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam. That's what I want.
You don't save that for Mania?
I guess, yeah, save that for Mania, I guess. I guess it could be if Brock Lesnar keeps the belt. See, it all depends on if he keeps the belt or not. Although I suppose you could have Lesnar versus Roman at SummerSlam. I don't want that to be it. AJ and Nakamura could, again, headline SummerSlam.
I think if you did, if SmackDown main evented, I'd do Bryan Nakamura.
Bryan and Nakamura headlining SmackDown. I don't think they'll do that, though.
No, I don't think they'll be the main event. But if it was from SmackDown, that's your money match right there for SmackDown. But Raw, I have no fucking clue. I mean, do you do Balor versus Reigns? I mean, I know I'm kind of shrugging my shoulders on that one, but like, who else? Because I'm thinking, who else came over from the Superstar Shakeup that could like be a big like match player for fucking Raw, and I can't really think of anybody. So I would just that's the only one I can think of. Balor Reigns.
Isn't Raw a mess right now?
It is. I was thinking about it after like when I got off with you on SmackDown. I was like looking back at the Superstar Shakeup. I'm like, the fuck's with Raw? Like really, like. If you think about it, nothing really major changed. I mean, yeah, SmackDown got the better picks. Half of that was NXT call-ups, and Joe, I think, was the big coup they got. But really, like, Raw's going to be weird. Like, I'm all happy for SmackDown, but Raw's like, I don't know what the fuck they're going to do.
Yeah, I don't really get it. Like the mid card, like the lower mid card is there, the low mid card, and then the mid card's there. Who's gonna face? I mean, I guess maybe it's because the title ain't even on the goddamn show ever. But you know,
maybe that's part of it.
Your champion isn't on the show. You know, people don't really like Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman.
That's the other part. We don't know when Lesnar's dropping the belt. We have no fucking clue.
Well, and after the Greatest Rumble, we'll have a better idea, because if he doesn't drop it to Reigns, I would think he would drop it to Reigns, because you got to get that belt on the show now, because the show is so fucked right now. How could you not have this belt on the show at this point? And there's no main event, and what is Reigns just going to wrestle everybody?
If you don't have the belt on the show, you could get away with it until SummerSlam, because then you have, it's not going to be pretty, but at least it kind of works out, because with the dual branded pay-per-views, you don't need the Universal Champion. You always have, where is it? The WWE title to fall back on. So there's always a championship match at the show. So you're not really doing that. In the meantime, they can build up the other guys to be eventual challengers for the Universal Championship. But that's the only fucking guess. I have no fucking clue what they're going to do on Raw. It is a goddamn clusterfuck.
Yeah, that's fucked up. It's fucked, man.
Yeah.
Let's take a phone call. Lots of phone calls. 830, what's up?
Hey, Joe Cronin.
Hey.
Hey, you answered?
Yeah, man. What do you got?
Holy crap. This is out of nowhere. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. It's Joe Cronin. He picked up. My dick is hard. I don't believe it.
Oh, my God. All right, well, there goes him.
All right. Genius is briefly fleeting.
Jesus Christ. Let's see, what else we got here? Let's go to Broken Matthew. What's up, Broken?
What's up, Joe? What's up,
man?
Connor?
What is up?
Okay, so I got a question. Do y'all think that they're going to take away Lashley's spear because of Reigns?
I'm surprised they're going to take away his name, because there's two Bobbies now on Raw.
Yeah. But I'm going to say, yeah, sure, they will. And you know when someone comes up to on WWE programming when they come back or whatever, and you can sort of feel how impactful they feel? We thought maybe Lashley was going to be one of those top guys. I have a feeling now that he doesn't feel like that. He feels just like a mid-card guy.
Oh, no, I think Lashley could be something special.
He could be,
if they book him right.
Doesn't feel like it, though.
And I have one more question before you let me go, because I know you got a busy night, and I got to go to school tomorrow anyway. Do you see Almas winning a WWE title in the next year?
Yeah,
I could.
Yeah, he could win because they have the U.S. belt now. So, yeah, I mean, he could win the U.S. title, and him and Selena Vega would kill it. Sort of kind of takes the Miz's heat a little bit.
I'd rather him have the U.S. title for a really long time, for some reason, just to maybe build that back up a bit. But, I mean, he can fucking pull it off. We've seen him with the NXT title, but I kind of want to see him with the U.S. title a little bit more, just because, I mean, granted, they always do the fucking thing of like, oh, the un-American wins the U.S. title, but fuck it. I mean, his matches quality is fantastic. So I'd rather give him the U.S. title run first. But yeah, I could see him win the title.
Well, let me jump over to the Patreon. I asked people on Patreon to submit questions. By the way, become a patron. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Guys, help us out. Help me out. It's my Patreon. I said to go ahead and submit your questions, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about it tonight. So let's go.
Joe, how about that picture I sent you?
Oh, my God. Yeah, we got to talk about that shit. That's so fucked up. Well, let's get through a couple of these, and then, guys, you are going to... Connor told me about a match that happened earlier that's...
insane.
And Kevin Sullivan is hurt. Like, it's fucking crazy. Let me pull that picture up and see if I have it, actually, real quick.
Threw it to you in the chat.
I can't believe that thing, man.
I was scrolling through my Twitter feed right before we hopped on. I'm like, I wonder when Joe's going to... Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, look at that. An egg.
Oh, my God.
Where is it? Oh, here it is. Oh, I did. I pulled it up. Look at this. All right, let's talk about this first, and then we'll get to Jeremy.
Sorry, I derailed the questions, but fucking Christ. So I was scrolling through my Twitter feed, and this came from Sami Callihan, who apparently had a match with Kevin Sullivan. Look at the Jesus Christ.
Dude, Sami Callihan actually did this to him today. Is that yesterday?
Yeah, this was tonight.
Do we know how it happened? A baseball bat?
I'm trying to find that out now. I don't know. All I know is that it was a what was it? What type of match was it? Motherfuck. I'm trying to find. It was some sort of like street fight or something like that. Apparently, Kevin Sullivan gave like a fucking like 17-second promo right beforehand and like cussed him out or whatever, and then he fucking brutalized him. Jesus Christ.
I mean, people already are mad at Sami Callihan, like thinking he's unsafe and stuff at the Eddie Edwards thing with the bat. This is not going to help him. I almost wonder if Kevin Sullivan was like, "Listen, boy, you'll never get heat like this ever again. I want you to crack my head open tonight. I want you to do it. I want you to get a heat. I want you to get crazy heat." Crack my head.
I apologize if this video is already instantly demonetized.
Yeah, right. Do what WWE does.
Black and white it. Oh my God.
My Christ, dude. Unbelievable.
Yeah, this is fucking brutal. I have maybe you guys can help out in the chat. I have no idea how he did this, but like, God damn. Someone said that's one big zit. Oh my God.
And it's bleeding too, is the weird thing.
Yeah.
It's bleeding all over the place.
Yeah, it's everywhere. That batters up. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck he did this. I'm trying to find out how he did this. Let me see if I can find. Wow. Yeah, a lot of people are like, holy shit. I'm trying to find out how the fuck he did this.
I don't know. Yeah, I wish that'd be really cool. But let me pull up JP's question here.
Yeah.
Who is it? It's Jeremy Baker's question. Jeremy Baker says, "Who do you think got the better end of the deal in the shakeup?" That's an easy SmackDown, I think.
Yeah,
and I think obviously Connor. Everybody, most everybody I've heard has said obviously SmackDown made out.
Just depends how creative goes.
Let's go through more of the Patreon questions. You guys can submit videos if you want in there too. Matt, Steffi, if you could remove one guy from the WWE and let them thrive on the indies, who would it be? With the exception of Rusev Day. I mean, I'd probably get rid of Dolph because he's just been. It's not going anywhere in WWE. Just, you know what I mean? Go get it on the indies. I'd love to see what he does out there. Maybe he won't do anything out there.
Yeah, if it was for that reason, like a guy's like, he isn't doing shit there, yes. But I know he's super over right now. But if you were to let go, I'd be curious to see how Elias would do on the indies. I know he's super over right now, and there's no reason to let him go, but I'm just saying if he did.
See, I don't think Elias, I don't think he would do that well.
Really?
No, yeah. I mean, I think he'd do all right, but I mean, I just feel like a guy who's more like, you know, has better wrestling matches would do better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's more of an entertainer.
Yeah, I mean, he might.
Yeah, I get your point.
It's like Adam Rose. You know, Adam Rose had that big fun. You know, everybody loved. Oh, for a while they loved him, and then he went on the indies. He's doing like okay, but it's not like he's not gonna.
Right.
Glorious Eugene, with Ricochet, Johnny Gargano being hot commodities in NXT, with the success of Daniel Bryan in the past 5 years, do you think Vince needs to start letting the new style of high-flying lightweight cruiserweights thrive instead of always burying the majority of them? Glorious Eugene, I just think that they need to be allowed to have matches. You know what I mean? Because Sasha and Bayley don't necessarily do all this crazy high-flying stuff. And Sasha and Bayley could put on I would think, a really good match at some point. But it doesn't feel like they're ever really allowed to. So it doesn't even need to be that high-flying stuff and whatever. You know, it just needs to be matches that are good, that are entertaining. And it feels like everything is always booked wrong or executed wrong, or they almost got enough time but didn't get enough time. So there's always some kind of problem. What do you think about that? I
think that with Triple H taking over 205 Live and seeing how that's going to work, which I've been watching it now regularly since WrestleMania, and they had a fucking crazy tag team match. And it was the simplest booking. it was great stuff. And I think that eventually it's going to slowly seep its way back in. I think it's not going to be instant, but the more that we see I think right around, was it 2020 the XFL starting again, right?
Right.
So I think right around that time, because I think Triple H is really going to take a big step forward as far as the creative goes. That's just my thought. I think you'll start to see it slowly seep its way in, like, hey, it's working in NXT, it's working in 205 Live. Let's try a little bit here on Raw, a little bit here on Smack. Try this and that. I think it's just going to slowly make its way down. I definitely could see it happening because, like you said, Tommaso Ciampa and fucking Gargano were fucking incredible. And I think eventually you just see it start to, not with everybody, obviously. You can't have fucking authors of pain doing fucking moonsaults. But, like, it's just slowly seep into the main roster eventually.
I think that, well, fuck it. I think we'll go to the next question. Glorious Eugene, thank you. Let's see what else we got. We got Justin McNeil. Who will win the not so greatest Royal Rumble?
I think they're gonna troll us and do Bryan.
They're gonna do Bryan, dude. That's, oh my god. They'll be like, we'll give them what they always wanted. We're not gonna give you
this Rumble, but we'll give you a trophy that's taller than you.
It'll be funny. You know, Vince would think that's funny too. Like, it'll be funny, the damn trophy's bigger than him. We'll have to lug the trophy.
You have to bring it to the airport, pal.
How are you going to carry that back there if you don't eat meat?
I got to put it through customs.
You know, if you eat a little bit more meat, Daniel, you might have grown to be about at least Shawn Michaels' height. You know,
me and him go way back. We have a homosexual thing.
I love that clip, man. Oh, my Christ. There's Courtney. Do you think WWE goes to Fox, that Raw will go back to 2 hours? What? Oh, if they go to Fox, will Raw go back to 2 hours?
That's been rumored for a while.
I think it might, because I don't know how they have 3 hours of programming time to put in there. So
yeah, that's what I've heard.
I think it would go back to 2.
Real quick, shout out to Wahoo LeBron. He just hit us up on Twitter. Apparently, it was with a steel chair that broke open Kevin Sullivan.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck that happened, but Christ.
Man, you can.
Yeah, he sent us a still image on Twitter, but fuck.
God damn it. That's crazy, man. You should never be hitting someone in the head. Like, how did it happen? Like, I mean, you should put your hand up or something, but he just got cracked completely. I'm telling you, man, he was like, I'm gonna help make this kid's career even more. Beat up, you put him.
I'm gonna die in the ring.
I'm gonna, yeah. Sami Callihan killed Kevin Sullivan. Jay Don't Play. By the way, actually, on Patreon, on one of my Morning Madness episodes, Famous B joined me, and he told me that he was he kind of hung with Kevin Sullivan at WrestleCon, so that's kind of funny. Jay Don't Play says Ziggler, Drew going to work out either of them could be what Ziggler has needed. Even to Big E didn't work out. He won the world title though. It's like they think he needs a big person with him. Yeah, it's like it's almost like they literally put him in there as Drew McIntyre's crutch. Like, make sure he has someone with him. And then they'll do this. They'll do these things. They'll be like a tandem, rather than bringing in Drew Galloway or Drew McIntyre and having him just run somebody over. See, I would have. I don't know, man. Like my vision is completely different. My vision would have been Roman Reigns winning, and it still could happen. But I mean, my vision would be Reigns winning in Saudi Arabia, coming back, saying the American audience and the regular audience sucks, and kind of getting into beefs with just everyone and defending the championship. So it's like a Monster of the Week thing, and everyone's always cheering for whoever is facing Reigns. And at some point, you could have had, Samoa Joe goes after him, McIntyre goes after him, and it's like Reigns is still winning, but he's kind of a heel, but every single match is big to all of us. Because if you get 70 to 80% of the crowd booing Reigns and hating Reigns' guts, if you can get 80% of the crowd hating his guts, then we're all going to want to watch to see if somebody's going to finally beat him. And that will be what people will pay for. That will be amazing. But nobody wants to pay for a face Reigns holding up the belt, yay, versing somebody that people don't necessarily love either. Like, that's not going to work. It's not working now. Anthony Garcia says, if AJ retains, who will he feud with next? Bryan. Yeah, do you think Daniel Bryan will feud with AJ first or Nakamura first?
See, if if Nakamura and AJ are done, I thought Joe would be next. Because he was calling out everybody, and then of course he says, and AJ Styles, like at the very end. Although I'd kind of want to wait on that one. I don't know. That's a fucking tough one. I think Bryan's going to be doing big casts for a while. I think he's going to be doing that for quite some time. So I don't think he's going to be near the title, but I think Joe would be. If the AJ Nakamura thing gets wrapped up like quick, then I would do AJ Joe.
AJ versus Samoa Joe. Let's take a phone call. Blah, 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 blah. Yo, what's up, Bulldog Club and Broken? I see you guys' donations. I'm going to hit these donations up in just a second here. Let's take one more call, and then we'll play some of these. So get your, if you guys want to drop in some comments and donations, just make sure you guys check down there in Streamlabs. Super Chat still isn't working, obviously. And we talked about a lot here, but there's a whole hell of a lot more to talk about. Shit. I lost the fucking button. Give me 1 second. I'm going to fix this. Connor, you got some news you want to talk about?
The only other thing I was going to look at was, where the hell was it? I had something pulled up. Oh, yeah. Did you hear about, I don't know if you guys talked about this before, Alberto El Patron. He gave the reason why he why he no-showed those shows and got fired by Impact.
Oh, shit. No. I don't know. This is the mystery I've been waiting for.
So apparently, according to him, and let me see if I can pull up the exact quote, I had a family situation that I needed to attend to. As you know, my family, my kids are my priority. Situation was involving them. That's why I decided to take care of business and take care of my family situation.
Hasn't he? All right, I'm going to take a piss right now, so I'm taking the phone with me. Hasn't he done that before? Didn't he do that to a promotion like 8 months ago down in Mexico? Like he just no-showed. Everybody thought he was missing and dead or something. And then he was like, oh, yeah, I just had something. Oh, well.
But, you wouldn't tell that to Impact? That's the part. That's the part that's very. It's something fishy about this. And I think honestly, fucking Impact just was like, we're done with your shit. You're fucking out. And honestly, from what I'm hearing as far as that stuff, good call on them. Just fucking. Like what the fuck? He's like playing off, and I just read the quote. He's playing off the firing like he doesn't give a shit. I'm fine, of course. It's difficult because it's never good to go that way. Our relationship wasn't pretty good or completely good, and this was just something that ended up breaking it. Like what,
dude? I don't know he just seems to be kind of not interested, unless it's like a major thing. But what I will say is, I mean, Impact could have told Impact that, and then they could have just been like, well, he's off the show, and then not told anybody. They could have not said, hey, don't worry, everyone. He's not going to be here, but he told us why. Instead they were like, well, fuck him, and they just play it off as like he didn't show up. But he's weird, man. It's like he can't deal with the WWE, but then when he's down in the indies, he feels like he's so important. Everything is way more important than any booking that he has. So, it's really weird. Which is it? And, I remember Chavo Guerrero, when we had Chavo Guerrero on the show with me and Dave Rose, and we asked him about, Alberto and like the things that Patron said, Chavo got pissed. Like he fucking sounded like, and I'm misremembering this, but I believe he sounded like he just fucking hated
no,
Alberto.
I think you're right, and I think that generally speaking, it's excuse me, it's he's not been painted in a pretty light. I mean, the thing that the whole thing also is he just said, like I was just reading that quote, it was like he's like, oh, our relationship wasn't that good. Motherfucker, they rolled out the red carpet for you. Like when he came in, they made it like he was the biggest star out of when everyone fucking left Impact. He was probably the biggest star that they acquired star-wise from WWE, and they made him like the champion. They were going to do this remember the whole thing at Slammiversary? They were going to unify the fucking titles. They were like putting the company on his back, and you're like, oh, our relationship wasn't good. Like, fuck off. No, it wasn't. It was great, or at least it seems like they did a good job, but I don't know. I hear so much negative stuff about Patron now. I think it's for the best at the end. Like, Jesus. Ugh.
Well, I'm back. I
Back from Tinkle Time.
I put soup on because I need something to eat, and I hadn't eaten, so I threw soup on, I peed, and I did all that while talking to you about Alberto El Patron. And
you guys don't think he works hard for us fans. My God.
I had a ball this morning with my kids, though, man. I didn't sleep last night. Me and Leah like stayed up, and then she went to bed, and then I just couldn't sleep for whatever. And I'm like, well, it's too late now. And then they started waking up, and so
it's too late now. I know that routine. Like, well, fuck, it's 4:30 and the sun's coming up. Well, there goes my day.
Well, and sometimes what happens is one will wake up and I'll put on stuff for them and I'll go back to sleep on the couch. And sometimes different things happen. Obviously, I take care of them, here or there. But
yeah,
Leah's the one who normally really maintains the morning. Like okay, baby diaper. Girl gets a diaper. And then my 8-year-old doesn't need any help with anything, but he gets up, and so she's sort of maintaining the first initiative of milk and stuff for the day. And so, yeah. But I got to have a ball this morning. I was like, oh man, cool, change diaper, this diaper. People need food, so I'm making eggs for people. And even though I was kind of tired, I don't know. That's the best though. Like when you get up in the morning and you're making breakfast for everybody. I used to love when my dad did that. Even I didn't have him for long, but when he did that, I loved it. And then my buddy's dad would always make pancakes and eggs and stuff, and I loved that. And now I like doing it. It's kind of funny, but so I had a lot of fun. And then I slept the rest of the day after at 12 o'clock. Then I passed out at 12 o'clock to fucking 7.
All right, everyone's got bacon, eggs, pancakes, everything fantastic.
Yeah, see you later. You got it. You get him. Go get him. And
yeah.
But I'm pissed because I had all this work to do. So now I'm going to be up doing it again tonight. But anyway, let's take. We talked about Bruno Sammartino earlier. We talked about a lot of shit here. It wasn't Boston clam chowder. I can't really eat that anymore. I get acid reflux when I eat it.
I never liked it, to be honest with you.
I love it. I love every food. I love every kind of food almost. And
I clearly love every food too. Christ.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm getting up there. We're
I've stayed up there.
I don't know how much you weigh, but I weigh 215.
I'm more than you. I'm 275.
What?
Yep.
Well, you're taller though. You're actually
right.
People don't realize how tall you are.
No, I'm about 6'2".
Yeah, you're a lot bigger in real life. It's crazy. You were like JD was sucking your dick that time we were hanging out. Because his mouth was right where
literally, yeah. He was matching the height.
It was right there. It was weird. It was right there. And
it didn't help when I had that picture behind him. I'm like, yeah, and it looked like I was just ramming him from behind.
He was doing the handy. Here it is. It's Trey.
Speaking of which,
$9 for a fuck. Someone donated 9. I'm getting hard. I got 9 inches inside of your wife. $9. I'm shooting.
Hey, they're gonna have Pyro at the Greatest Rumble.
And my balls have turned blue. $9. Suck my dick.
SmackDown main card and tag card are in good shape now after the shakeup, but the women Division 1 feel like is lacking.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. By the way, the favorite part about that donation, by the way, is not so much Lesnar doing the Pyro thing.
Hey, Joe and Connor, been a while since I've been able to donate. I'm sorry. But I was wanting to get your guys' opinions on the concussion lawsuits against WWE. Seems pointless to me, seeing as the wrestlers knew what they were getting. Is that just me?
It's probably...
No, I'm on the same page.
I think it's going to get thrown out. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
Vinny Carr. What's up, Vinny? Good to hear from you, Vinny. Thank you for the $5 and becoming a $5 shit bum, Vinny.
Shit bum.
Yeah, so we're both in agreement. This is going to go nowhere, the concussion lawsuit. Yeah. And real quick, what were you going to say about that previous donation?
Oh, the Lesnar donation. I love that because the referee, when he's holding his hands like that, he's like, oh my God, it's Lesnar's dick. That's just my favorite part.
No Death, what's up? Oh yeah, you are too? Well, you can get down there and gobble on it too, No Death. Jesus.
Shit bum.
I feel like they took most of the talent away from Raw in order to make it all about Roman. Even more focus on him, it seems like. On another note, I expected Charlotte to be on Raw. I take it either her or Ronda win the Women's Royal Rumble then?
That's a good point. Maybe Ronda will win
Probably
that Rumble.
Ronda, yeah.
Thank you, Joe Cronin's cock must win. And wouldn't that be pathetic if they put, really, Joe Cronin's cock, if they put Roman Reigns just surrounded him to be like, oh yeah, you don't think he's a superstar? Who's a superstar if it's not Roman?
The only reason I disagree with that is because they kept Strowman on there. I think Strowman's more over than Reigns.
Well, he is, but they seem like they're going big teddy bear. Oh my God. Like they're going big teddy bear happy guy.
Kane and I'm donating.
Hey Joe Connor, why do I have this feeling under my left ball sack that they will steal? Find a way to fuck up SmackDown. By the way, arm two balls.
Arm two balls.
Two balls.
Broken line, thank you. Probably because even when they were doing well a year and a half ago, they were still not doing the best, and they ruined it at some point. So it's not crazy to think that at some point this is not going to work out.
SmackDown's usually had not always, but usually had a better roster. So it's like, how can you fuck that up when you have all these guys?
On Spotify, WWE changed the logo from Scratch logo to Network logo on Drew McIntyre's
What?
Broken Dreams album cover, so I think he will use his old theme on main roster.
I love that song.
Wow.
I love that fucking song.
You know what's weird is, remember when, well, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but first of all, Drew McIntyre listens to the show, okay? So that's fucking amazing. All right, that's hilarious. He listens to the show. He listens to Monetize This and shit. So Drew McIntyre is coming to WWE, and I had him on the show when he was leaving TNA. We had a podcast. Me and him always talked in Twitter, and we never could sync up to do the podcast. He always wanted to come on, and I always wanted him on. And when he finally got signed by WWE, I DM'd him and was like, "Yo, this is awesome." I was like, "Dude, they're gonna give you back your old theme, right? Because that was awesome." And he said, "I hope so." And I was like, "Yeah, me too."
Song.
And then he got there and he got the NXT one, but the NXT one was really good and it fit him. But do you think? On the main roster, maybe it.
I'd be for it. Fuck it. I mean, I remember blasting that in my car a couple weeks ago. Actually, I was like, fucking Drew McIntyre's old theme." I'm like, yeah, this is the shit. I wouldn't mind that if they made as much as we're kind of iffy about Ziggler and McIntyre as a tag team. I wouldn't mind them coming out to that. That'd be pretty fun. That'd be badass.
Yeah, they could do that, but I feel like they're gonna get Dolph's music done.
Or is record scratching and shit?
Yeah, and actually it's funny because someone brought up Dublin brought up fucking that Bill Bahati fuck. Then he like started yelling at me like that I didn't know Drew McIntyre. He's like, "Stop putting words in his mouth." I'm like, "Dude, I literally asked him, and he told me something." And I go like, then I had to ask Drew if it was okay to put that on the record that he wanted his old theme. And then me and Drew basically agreed that, that wouldn't be good. Like I told Drew, I said, let's not comment on it. You just got signed by NXT, and I don't want to be like, he wants
ruin
his
it. Yeah, you don't want to stir any shit up in that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't want to do that. But so Bill Bahati was trying to say like, oh, I didn't know him and all these. That guy's a psychopath anyway. But that dude is fucking crazy. That Billy kid, and he keeps getting in trouble left and right because he's pretty sure at some point he's gonna probably kill somebody. But I mean, he's really messed up. But yeah, dude, Drew's the man. I'm so happy. Like, just I don't know, man. I'm fired up that he got back to WWE after everything we talked about, and then he did it.
Shit bum.
And now we got a shit bum.
Can't wait for Daniel Bryan versus Miz. I feel that feud will be awesome, and I hope that was just a fuck up not putting Nikki Cross in the picture with Sanity.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that on SmackDown Review last night. Very weird. I real quick, Broken Lion, thanks for becoming a $5 shit bum. I think that they're going to introduce Nikki Cross at some point, but I think they're leaving her in the women's division down in NXT because they just need bodies. And
big time.
And maybe they don't know what to do with her yet because, like, New Day's there or something. Maybe at some point they'll get involved where there's a woman, and then she shows up. Or maybe Sanity. Ooh.
If Raw gave you AIDS, put your hands in the air. If Raw gave you AIDS, I'm not afraid to say. Raw gave me AIDS, fuck Raw. Raw gave me AIDS, fuck Raw.
Holy shit. Do you think Vince moved Samoa Joe to SmackDown because the fans love Joe and Chant his name, as we all hate Roman. We know
Maybe.
Vince doesn't want fans cheering against
Yep.
Roman and doesn't want anyone bigger than Roman. Why renew their feud then, and it?
Hey, Haskell, I mean, it's so funny that we had that donation a few minutes ago, too. It's like people are really getting into that conspiracy, man. Get the tinfoil hats ready. Because it is weird. Haskell, thank you for the donation, man. Thank you guys for the donations. If you guys want to donate, the link is down below in the Streamlabs. And all the donation amounts are listed in the description box if you wonder how much you want to trigger a donation for. But what do you think about that? I think it's weird. How do they not, like, you would think Goldberg's coming to Raw or something, like they're missing something, right? Like, what? And there's no, Brock is just there sometimes, so.
It's weird. Like, like I said, when I was looking back at the Superstar shakeup, like, and looking at everything, it's like, what the fuck are they really going to do? Like, Raw really hasn't changed a whole lot, like from the Superstar shakeup as far as like major players. Like, I don't think, aside from McIntyre that we just talked about for like 20 minutes, there really wasn't anything major. I think that we got excited about because all the top guys are still there: Roman, Strowman, Finn, Seth. Who, like, I don't know. And you're right with the whole Lesnar thing. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. This whole Greatest Royal Rumble thing is just throwing a fucking wrench in everything. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do.
And listen, this is like, again.
Are you finishing your soup?
Yeah, I went out to pour my soup. Yeah. But it's so weird because Vince worked so hard to put over that Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. I mean, he really worked his ass off, and we said it. We said it even then. We said, Extreme Rules is going to be garbage, and they're going to end up. Extreme Rules has been garbage, but it should be extreme. We should see all this extreme stuff. We saw nothing extreme. It was actually worse than most normal pay-per-views. It was that bad. It was the top 3 worst pay-per-view of the year.
It didn't much worse, but yeah, I get your point.
Yeah. Well, it was much worse. You're right. But Great Balls of Fire ended up being well hyped and was a lot treated with more respect because it was like Vince's baby, calling it Great Balls of Fire. In fact, I think we had blood at Great Balls of Fire multiple times, as opposed to Extreme Rules, which we never saw blood, where people were swinging chairs around.
I'm trying to pull up the card because I remember Joe and Lesnar, and I remember Strowman and Roman in an ambulance match, but I'm trying to remember the rest of the fucking. Yeah, Jesus.
Hardy got cut open in that one.
Yeah, too. Because it was them in a 30-minute Iron Man match for the tag titles.
Yes.
Sasha and Bliss for the women's title. Miz and Ambrose for the IC. Strowman, Roman ambulance. Lesnar, Joe. What else we got? Cass and Enzo, Wyatt and Seth Rollins. All right, that could have been fun. Yeah, these aren't bad at all. But like, yeah, I remember because we were all like poking fun of it and making fun of it about like, oh, they're calling it Great Balls of Fire. Like Vince doesn't even know that's a song.
But what I remember doing is weeks before it aired, I said this on one of the shows. I said, everybody's making fun of this. I'm like, but I'm telling you, this could be better than anything else because when Vince cares about this, he didn't give a shit about Extreme Rules, and guess what? He don't give a shit about Backlash. I bet. So, the Greatest Royal Rumble is going to be the show to watch, not Backlash.
It really is weird though to think that you hear all these theories about like, oh, they're sabotaging this person or sabotaging the show, and you're thinking to yourself why will you don't think of like any business doing that? Like you would think a business wants to optimize profit and optimize audience retention and fandom in order to bring back more revenue. You know what I mean? Like you don't. Well, they're gonna screw over this show to get and you think that there's no way. But then you see Mania and you do the Rumble. It's like
they don't see it. Let me explain why. This is why. See, they don't see it like that. They don't see it like that. They're screwing over these other shows. They see it like foreplay and sex. They see it like, oh, we're warming the oven. We're licking the clit, and then eventually we're gonna stick it in, and it's gonna be so wet that it's gonna be like, oh, that's exactly what they're doing. They're feeling tits and grabbing ass on Backlash, but the Greatest Royal Rumble, that's when they're gonna come
full penetration.
And same thing with Roman. You know what I mean? Don't have a match that's gonna overshadow Roman because. Yep. You know what I mean? If you just start sticking it in and jamming it in, like, well, then you miss the main event, and that's how they feel. That's how they feel. They don't see how the people are actually feeling, But and you know, people are at this point, because of how wrestling is how it is, everyone's always going to complain about something or complain about whatever. But still, I don't mind if, yes, sometimes you don't put the same effort, or some pay-per-views clearly aren't going to always be as good, but it makes no sense either, because why not just have everything be really good in the sense of a pay-per-view? But also, why would you... I lost my point. I had a point that I was going to make, and I lost it, but yeah, I don't know. I lost my point.
What,
I had a whole
compare like Mania to the Rumble.
No, I just I lost it. I had some really good point that I was going to hit on, and I totally lost my goddamn mind. But
I get your point though, or I get the parts you were talking about in terms of like you're not going to get perfection every time. Like you're not going to get a 5-star Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, or even a pay-per-view. There's going to be peaks and valleys for like maybe the women's thing isn't good this week, or maybe the tag team thing is fucking awesome this week. But I feel like it's just there's a consistent almost flat line in some ways, and then you get like one little aha, and then it just dies out. And it's just odd to me that, you know, you hear all these theories about like them sabotaging shows, and while I don't think you're right, I don't think they look at it that way at all, but it is very like, I don't know, it seems almost backwards to me in terms of like they're making WrestleMania like a pre-show for another I don't know, just maybe it's my mentality. It just seems weird.
With the depleted talent on Raw, who is the top heel that is believable other than Brock Lesnar to face Roman? Logic would say, turn him heel. But then again, other than Braun or Lesnar, who is Roman's real threat?
That's my
Roman
point.
conspiracy, I tell you.
But here's my point, Joe Cronin's cock must win. My point is, Roman Reigns can be the guy. And we can all hate him, right? He can be like, Saudi Arabia is better, than America. All you Americans care about is jumping on Twitter and booing hard work. They respect hard work in Saudi Arabia. Like, and he can just fucking shit on everybody, and he can become a major heel. And what's going to happen? When Rusev faces Roman, we're all going to scream to death for Rusev. And they can they can work a program for 3 months. And then when Rusev doesn't get it done, Roman can then be like, well, he couldn't get it done. Who's up next? You know, and then this next guy comes up, like maybe Elias. And then Elias doesn't beat him on a Raw, and he's defending the belt on a Raw. And Roman can just keep beating these guys until somebody gets over enough that that's who the crowd has gone with. And now you have a top babyface. And maybe even Daniel Bryan. You know what I mean? You know, maybe somebody from SmackDown eventually. But, you know, the bottom line is you will create that by just doing stuff with Roman, because people will pay. I am telling you right now, if you make Roman a piece of shit, people will pay to see Roman get beat up, or to see Roman finally lose the title if he's a major heel. It won't be like CM Punk's heel run, where like some people didn't like him, but most people just enjoyed being entertained by him being the champion. No, you will make people want to rip his hair out. What do you think about? I really think that's where they should go, but
no, I see where you're going with this. I mean, like it almost turning into I guess the way I envision it was like almost like an entitled heel, where like, yeah, I'm the man, fuck you. This is my. I can see that very easily getting over. Dude, that's what people pay money for, is to see heels get the shit kicked out of them.
Dude, they've set it up for him. They boo him everywhere. All he has to say is, all you do is boo me. You know what? I hate all of you. You know what I mean? I don't like you. And then he takes out The Rock. The Rock shows up one night to be like,
I think that'll, yeah.
And then he can
I would put over the top.
He can beat the shit out of The Rock, or something like that. He can just do so many things. And then he can say, when I was having my match, bleeding, putting my life on the line to win, to defeat a guy who doesn't even give a damn about any of you or anybody in this business. I was bleeding, fighting, struggling. And what did I hear in the crowd? Boos and people playing with beach balls. In Saudi Arabia, everyone was standing on their hands and feet cheering for me when I won this championship. Now I come back and look at all this. Boos. Because you people don't understand what work ethic is. You don't respect anybody who busts their ass. You'd rather cheer for a guy who shows up once every 3 months. All that stuff. oh my God, it's fire. And then he's a heel. And then you just want to see everyone beat his ass. Rusev and whoever the fuck. And then Strowman eventually. Like, you want to see all those rivalries. And then depending on how each rivalry goes, as Roman beats everybody and keeps moving with the belt, you want to have whoever worked out the best or whoever you think is rising to the top face him at SummerSlam. If not, a bigger name come back. Something like that. Why not? I just feel like that's the money right there.
I agree with you. I'm not gonna disagree. By the way, I was just thinking about like the names of.
You might be different than Jake DeMarco. No, Jake, if you're listening, I love you. Hope you're all right.
I was thinking about the names that if they kept Roman babyface, like who the fuck could he challenge if he beats Lesnar? And the only person or persons I could think of, but you're just gonna recycle the same shit from fucking SmackDown as Owens and Zayn. That's it. Everyone else is a fucking babyface unless they turn either Seth or Finn heel.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Shit bomb.
A lot of fucking.
Joe WWE doesn't want to do Daniel Bryan versus Roman because even though he gets booed like shit, now it would be even worse with Daniel.
But that's the perfect opportunity to do it.
Yeah, but can you imagine if Daniel Bryan was and by the way, I think Daniel Bryan's taking a little step back. I don't know if you noticed this, but it was almost like he was more over when he wasn't wrestling. Like he's still over a lot.
Yeah, I did get that kind of feeling a little bit from SmackDown where like they weren't as into it. I mean, when he was wrestling, I didn't honestly expect him to be wrestling this much. I thought he would do like a Lesnar deal where like you'd only like wrestle on pay-per-views. I wasn't expecting him to wrestle every fucking night or every TV at least. He definitely got the pop on the SmackDown after Mania, but this last week was just like, eh.
I'm almost in shock that he's in the ring. I mean, part of it's like that for me, like that I'm almost like
it's a little surreal.
He is in the ring right now. I'm not like, yes, he's here. Like
you're like, well, look at that.
I honestly like, and it's weird because Daniel Bryan was the most over guy. Daniel Bryan still is the guy who's been cheered for the loudest since Austin and The Rock and Cena.
You know, I just checked out the chat for a second, and there's a name that popped up for who could challenge Roman. I didn't even fucking think of this because there's rumors they've been pushing him, and Corbin is another one that got over to Raw. And I thought, they haven't done shit with him. I like him, but he has done nothing on SmackDown the last, 3 months?
Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin to me is boring. Like, that to me is horrible.
I'd be more interested to see what Corbin has to say out of anything, but as far as the match goes, I mean, yeah, not really like jumping out of my chair for that one. But I mean, I could. There's rumors they were gonna push him anyway, so I don't know. I'd much rather turn him heel and just go full throttle with that.
They should have Corbin should have a pretty decent little push as a heel. But he should do some interesting stuff, too. It's like nobody has like a third dimension to their character anymore. It's always just like, I'm either going to be saying good things or bad things. But there's no above level for most people, right? There's no, like, Baron Corbin, I'm a heel. I bring the boldness. I mean, and then there's like other guys, the other guys are faces, but nobody really has this like extra level of charisma or dimension to them. That's why Elias works really well, because he has that little dimension. He's got that gimmick that he's doing, where everybody else is just like, I want a match because I'm this type of guy. And then it's like, well, I won't face you unless you... And it's just like always the same sort of thing. There's no extra layers. And if there's no if there's no storytelling that's going to put us into a cool storyline that's going to make us interested, then the characters need to be like superhuman, almost like superhero like.
Well, that's why Elias and Strowman, I think, get over, is because you look at them and like, okay, wow, fuck, like this is someone different, because obviously Elias dresses different and acts different. He always has the guitar and playing, and Strowman just like the fucking, you look at him, you're gonna turn your fucking head, and that's the reason I think two of them are so fucking over right now. Right. I think unfortunately, half the reason Finn's fucking over is because he's a demon.
Yeah,
just gonna throw that out there.
No, it's true.
But yeah.
No, you're dead on. I didn't think. I mean, I haven't really. I mean, unfortunately, Finn Balor. I thought he was gonna be. This is gonna be the greatest thing. These guys were all great in NXT. I mean, even Balor in NXT wasn't. I didn't love his matches in NXT, and he's got this cookie cutter moveset on the main roster, and it's just a regular guy who's there. They don't do anything too much with him other than visuals. Like, here's some visuals. Now he's LGBTQ. Now he's a monster guy. but there's no story behind anything. The closest they came was they dumped blood on him one time. Remember that? The Bray Wyatt thing? Or whatever?
Oh my God. Yeah, I almost forgot about that. What the fuck was it? Jesus. Yeah, I mean, it's just another fortunate thing in NXT. But to your point, though, yeah, I mean, he was more. Unfortunately, the entrance was like the big thing. Like even I remember when I was at SummerSlam this past year, where it was Bray Wyatt versus Finn, and I watched the entrances. I'm like, well, there's the match. I'm good. Like we all knew it was gonna fucking happen.
Let me just see here. I thought somebody said something. Oh yes, I'm sorry. I'm going to just pull up a couple more Patreon comments because people ask so many questions on here, and I wanted to get the people who pay money and support the show on Patreon. I wanted to make sure that they, got their questions answered here. Look at that face.
Yeah, no, face made for radio.
Well, me too. All right, so Matt Hendricks says, "Hey guys, so I read 2 opinions. Nikki Cross. One is Nikki is a surprise to Sanity interrupts Becky Lynch promo. See, I thought what would happen is Sanity would surround a female wrestler, and you'd be like, oh my God, they're not going to now attack a female, like, after they beat up some other people. Like, oh my God, they're going to attack a female now? Like, this is crazy. And then all of a sudden, she would come out of nowhere and then take out the girl. And then I was like, oh,
that would be cool, but it would put too much focus on her, though, I think.
Maybe you're right, yeah. But, what does he say? Sanity interrupts a Becky Lynch promo. EY says, it's okay, Becky, we didn't come here alone. Okay, yeah, so he basically saying what I was just thinking about. The club makes the save, but the club's not there.
No, club's on SmackDown now.
Finn Balor's on SmackDown?
No. Well, if he's talking all three, but no, but Gallows and Anderson are.
Oh, okay. I guess. Well, who's going to be?
I mean, I don't know. That'd be weird. But
they're missing a guy. Yeah, they're missing a guy.
But I could see them going right for a New Day. That's the thing I would see them after. Or if they were going to tie in a woman, since they fucking threw Naomi into the fucking Usos thing, that probably would be the only other thing I could think of. I don't know. I'm torn about Sanity on SmackDown Live, to be honest with you. Not like I'm not like, oh my God, I'm happy they're on the main roster, but like, I don't know. I mean, well, look at the fucking history of all the people in NXT in the main roster. It's like
based on the SmackDown roster, it would have been more exciting on Raw, and they would have been able to do more damage based on the mid-carders and the lower mid-carders that are there.
I would have rather have them showed up than a promo. Yeah. I think that would have been more impactful.
And if you're a writer or you're writing the story of Sanity, like say like WWE assigned Sanity to me, it's like I would definitely have them, go after the New Day first, or maybe the New Day cracks a joke about them, and then that's when they come after the New Day. And, I would let that last as long as possible while trying to write and come up with other ways to book Sanity going forward. You know what I mean? And I don't know how you do that. And then and do you just break off Eric Young too, where he's challenging for a belt and he's just getting support from the rest of them?
No, if it was me, I'd have them, because I think they did this with somebody else. I'm trying to remember who they did, but they brought in a tag team and they went right after like the guys who were challenging for the championship. And they kind of floated up on they were kind of like floating around as like this like random team like that was like challenging against these two other guys. And it was kind of like a side feud to build up to like the babyface rivalry. Like for example, we had Styles versus Nakamura they were both babyface going to WrestleMania. Like they would randomly attack Styles and Nakamura as they were shaking hands, and then like that build that feud, and then like they overcame them, and then they would go off and do their own thing in the tag team division. Like really, really introduce them hot. At least that's the way I would kind of. Because they have the numbers game advantage. I don't think there's any other team aside from New Day that has the 3-man thing going. But, I mean, that's the way I would introduce them and try to, like, because they're chaos and craziness. Like, well, make them fucking unpredictable. Make them attack the most random person that you would not see coming. Why not be the WWE champion? Why not the US champion? Don't go right after a tag team. Make it a little unpredictable.
Yeah, like, they did a good job with having, I don't know if I really loved it, but I mean, they did a decent job with having, Cass and everybody show up at the end of SmackDown, like during the main event stuff. So that made them seem like it was important. I would have thought it'd been better if he showed up in the main event for the first time, not show up in the back.
Right, like I did, like completely cut the backstage part.
Yeah, get rid of that.
Yeah, Yeah, if you got rid of that, Cass's I would have if they did that. I think Cass's appearance on SmackDown would have been better received.
Yeah, I agree because they spoiled it and then they had him come out again and it was like, well, okay, he's here. We knew that. Finn Balor forever. 3-part question: would you put the club back together now on SmackDown Live? I mean, yeah, I would have probably done that, but they didn't do that, so they're not there. Because then you would have had another group. But with the WWE, what was
that? if you brought Finn over, they're saying if you brought Finn over with the club.
Yes.
I would have done that. That would have been a great rival. That shit could have written itself because you do AJ versus Finn, and then you put them in the middle.
Yeah,
and you do like they're doing with. I mean, it's a copycat in more ways than one. But you do the copycat thing they're doing with the Bullet Club right now with Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes. Like, who's the true leader? That shit writes itself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they don't even need to do much, but it's at least something. Where even those are like NXT stories. They do little stories on NXT, and it's like those are at least like. Little, like you said, little stories that kind of write themselves. They're not the entertainment stories I'm looking for. I want bigger storylines and things, and those simple ones thrown in. But on the main roster, you don't get this. You don't really get the simple ones thrown in, and you don't really get the big stories. You just kind of get crap. I mean, like it's really bad. Like I mean, I don't know, like it's bad.
Hell, I gave 205 Live fucking credit this week because they told a better story.
Yeah.
205 Live. It was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because the main roster is just like put people out, have matches.
Unreal.
Have them say things that we wrote down, and it will be weird. Nito Exodust. What will it take for Vince McMahon and creative to get their heads out of their ass and start listening to the fans? I think one of the things is they think they are listening to the fans many times. You know what I mean?
Talks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they'll take more show attendance to drop, but I bet you part of them is blaming the indie guys they're calling up. Like, see, this ain't working. They're not blaming, but there's no top guy. There's no top guys or guy. That's why there's no interesting. Who is the must see person in the company right now? It's different for every WWE fan. That's the problem. It's spread around. You ask one person, they say, AJ Styles. You ask a kid or something, he goes, oh, Roman. You ask somebody else, they say, oh, I love, one of the women, whatever. And then like, oh, I love Braun. Like it's just all over the place. There's no definitive whatever. And that's why if you can't make a top face, which they clearly right now just can't do, make a top heel. And you can do that with Roman. And I mean, people.
Yeah, because that's how you build your baby face.
Yeah, and then you build a baby face off the heat that Roman has. It's so simple right now. Instead of keep trying to push this fucking circle through the square hole, like with Roman, just keep trying to do it. It's like that's what they're doing. Like, do it again.
It's a fucking great analogy. That's why I'm laughing.
That's the one. It's just keep doing it. Oh, does it work? Oh, kind of. Well, I can push it, but it still doesn't work.
I'll turn it this way.
It's like, come on, man. Go grab the fucking sander and sand this thing down to a circle and it'll go through.
I think long-term planning, or at least having an idea of a long-term plan, also doesn't help the situation either. Like that, I think we were talking about this before weeks ago when Sasha was in an interview and she's like, "What's the one thing you miss between NXT and the main roster?" She's like, "Well, knowing what's going to happen is usually great." She's like, "I don't even fucking know what happens until I get to the show." It's like, if you don't have a long-term plans for success, how can you plan for success? I don't understand that.
Well, and here's the other thing: the way they write now, they write episode to episode, but they don't really write much. The way they wrote in the Attitude Era was like they were writing soap opera shit. Like every story had depth to it that would continue. Right. Like so that made sense. They were writing that week to week, then. But like why? You don't need to take a break for it now.
My name is Kane and I'm donating.
It's Mark, everybody.
Hey Joe and Connor, I have debated amongst myself not to watch the GERR because of the whole women not wrestling thing, but it is what it is. I decided check this show out since Backlash will be trash. Joe, I bought monetize this t-shirt off your Teespring as well.
Woohoo!
Hey, Mark, thanks, man. And I saw that, by the way. I saw the purchase. I saw Teespring always alerts me when I get purchases, man. So thanks for buying the T-shirt off Teesprings, man. Mark, yeah, I get that. You know, it's really fucked up what WWE's doing based on their whole women's revolution and the fact that they would go there and the women can't wrestle and whatever else.
Shit bomb.
I definitely get that.
Is this a match possibly Sanity versus AJ and the club?
Ooh, I'd like that.
It could have
I
been.
think that'd be interesting.
It could have been. It's not now.
We could still have it.
I guess you're right because, like I said, they're co-branded pay-per-views now. So
if you do AJ Gallows and Anderson against Eric Young, Gillian Dane, and Wolf.
You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, I mean, what do you think about that? Because it's like, dude, co-branded. It's just they're gonna whip out 1 or 2 matches every pay-per-view where it's a mixed.
Yeah, they're gonna pull some shit. They're covering their ass in more ways than one with that. As soon as they announce, I told you, like I told you a while back, like I'm like this is the first major step in the brand extension being ended. Yep, I give it 2020 is my guess. Is that we're gonna go right back to Raw Super Show with the SmackDown logo on the fucking bottom.
I wonder if they'll come up with like a weird gimmick for the other show, you know, like something different.
SmackDown 205 Live, like or 205 SmackDown Live. I don't know. Like combine the two.
Every SmackDown starts with a title defense. You know, and you don't know what title it's going to be that's on the line. You know, something like that. Maybe they'll have to create a TV title, like something like that, or maybe they'll treat.
Oh no, I know for a fact Vince hates TV titles.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
I think Pritchard said that on his show. I'm really big on his show now, and he said that Vince hates TV title. Like he despises them.
Yeah.
Can't do a Dave Rose.
They would have to despise. They would have to
despise.
They'd have to do something though, like if they go back to that, because you know the shows were missing something then too. So
yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna get the hell out of here. Let me see. Awandi, my anus is on fire. How do I put it out? Says Awandi. Mark Westman, how long do you think the Saudi Arabia event will be? I think it's probably going to be 3 or 4 hours. Probably an hour.
More.
Yeah. Oh shit! It's going to be WrestleMania.
Yeah, they said they pre-shows at pre-shows 11 a.m. The show itself is at 12, and they said I think it's going to be at least 6 hours.
Oh my fuck!
Yeah, I might have to take Friday off from work.
Dude, I'm gonna be. That's insane, dude. I'm gonna be covering that, like, doing that whole thing, and then
you got monetized this.
No, and then I'm gonna be running to Brockton to do commentary. I got wrestling commentary.
Oh shit!
I'm calling I'm calling wrestling in Brockton that night. Come on out to Brockton, and then I'm gonna fly home and do monetize this.
You better like have some sort of like energy enema drink or something like that.
This is gonna be dumb as shit.
Yeah.
What's up, Mark Westman? How you doing, man? Thank you, bro. ADTR says, when do you think Dean Ambrose will return?
It's if I can remember right, I think they said June. June, I think is the ballpark. There's a guy that could have a Roman feud.
We thought he was coming back like this week.
I thought so too, but I guess he's out a little bit longer. But I think June or end of May is what I can remember hearing last. But hey, you bring back Dean Ambrose as a heel, might be interesting.
He's got to be, because he's boring as hell right now. It just doesn't feel like
fucking. I mean, they're not gonna. If they, I know they're not gonna turn Roman heel as per the great suggestion, but if they're gonna have anybody fight Roman, I mean, shit, that's at least mild. They're gonna fucking cheer Dean Ambrose then. Fucking John Moxley with fucking syringes coming out of his cheek.
Yeah, they could really sort of look at Dean and be like, you know, let's do the Stone Cold with Dean where he comes out.
Shit bomb.
They really have to.
I don't think Roman needs to turn heel, but I would like to see him become more bloodthirsty and violent.
I don't think it will work. Millionaire Bruce Wayne, thanks for the $5. Yeah, I don't think that will work. I think even when he goes, I'm going to be crazy, like, people just boo him anyway.
He's kind of... bloodthirsty.
Already,
really, like, what else? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what that would entail.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe he could be the one cutting someone open instead of Lesnar, I guess.
Oh, no, Kevin Sullivan's in the building. Run, Kevin! Don't go after him, Roman!
See, I would see more like, I don't know, I just don't see it, man. Don't see it. Has to be. I think he has to be a heel. I think there's anything less than that is been a waste of time. Yeah. I really think that. It's a waste of time to me. They're wasting their time. I mean, dude, here's why anybody who thinks that that's not true is wrong. Because it's been like 5 years. I mean, how long has it been? 4 years? 4 years of the most ridiculous push, and nobody can deny this. 4 years of the most ridiculous push anyone has ever received. Ever. Nobody. Fuck title reigns and shit like that. Nobody has ever received a push like Roman Reigns. And by the way,
Cena though.
Well, okay, but Cena was cheered by the crowd. Cena was
right.
cheered at. Okay, yeah, you're right. Cena was cheered at first. He was wicked over with the fans. People loved him, and then he got a push, and then he became like the top guy. People loved him, and then eventually you started hearing people booing him.
Yep.
And then they never turned him heel, and then they forced Cena down our throats. While it was definitive though that a lot of the crowd loved him, and a lot of the crowd hated him, but the love was much louder than the love for Reigns, and it's very similar. I know it's very similar, but at least Cena popped the ratings. Cena drove ratings and popped the crowd in a way that's different. You know, Roman isn't quite there.
Right. Oh, trust me, I was at Dallas when 100,000 people, and I've never ever heard. You go to shows and you hear like seas of boos, but I mean, Christ, like I feel bad in some ways because it's like you could not hear a single cheer at all. Really? I couldn't hear a single one. 100,000 people fucking booing this man out of Dallas. Insane.
That's crazy. Like there's like seriously like your casual fans are complacent, right? They're cheering for him, but not even that loud now. Like they're like, yeah, Roman. Like there's a lot of people kind of like cheering him, but it's just so complacent. Like I want people to hate this man, and I wonder maybe the casuals will still cheer for him, but then you'll get this real crazy divide. I mean, I don't know. You could do something besides what's going on right now. It's just not working.
It would make it more must-see TV. Excuse me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, guys, we are going to end the show now. I'm going to be going live on Twitch to play some PUBG Hangout, I think, for a few minutes at least, or I don't even know how long or what's up. But so I will see you guys there. I just pulled up my controller now. I should put it over here. And that's it, man. I had a lot of fun tonight. Jake will be back next week. Hopefully he's okay.
Oh. You're right. Roman has to turn. Hell, who else could he face as a baby face on Raw? Sammy, Baron Corbin. Doesn't sound too exciting to me.
I just laid it out for you. When Roman Reigns is booed by everybody, and if everybody's booing Roman Reigns, and everybody hates Roman Reigns, you're telling me that everybody's not going to cheer for Rusev if he steps up to Roman? If Rusev steps up to Roman, that's what I'm saying is you're going to create faces. You're going to create people because people are going to hate Roman so much that if Rusev says, I lived in this country now for a few years and I've changed my mind about America. This place has been great to me. And, dare you say things. And, they flip the both of them. It'd be crazy. And then everyone's cheering for Rusev. Rusev Day. And then he's facing Reigns. But look at the people on Raw. Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens can face Roman Reigns. He'd be cheered. Sammy could face Reigns. He'd be cheered because people would hate Roman Reigns so much. You've effectively made the baby faces. And yeah,
I just thought of this too, where you can do like backstage segments where they like bump into each other. They don't even need to have a fucking match. Like I was just thinking if Rusev like bumps his shoulder with Roman, they just do like this stare down, like watch where you're going. You can't tell me the crowd's not gonna fucking pop for that.
Right. Or Daniel Bryan. And this guy's point, and you listen, Joe Cronin's cock must win. Thanks for the donation. But your point that, well, who's Roman gonna face if he's a heel? Who's he gonna face if he's a face? There's
he has more
nobody
options it has more options and more entertainment, I think, if he was a heel, because you have, like I said, Seth, Finn, Strowman. There's at least a couple of top guys that are babyface that they could go through while you're building the next big babyface. Maybe not that I'm a fan of Rude as a babyface, but Bobby Roode just came over. There's a bunch of people.
Exactly. It's way more interesting if he's a heel now all of a sudden. All right, everybody on YouTube, guys, thank you for watching tonight. Oh, shit. Jesus Christ, that scared the shit out of me. Thanks for watching tonight. Go check out Connor from OKFabe on YouTube, youtube.com/OKFaber. And now we are live officially on Twitch right now. So if you guys want to watch the PUBG stream, come on over to twitch.tv/Joe Cronin JCS. And we'll see you guys next week for Out of Nowhere. And goodbye.
Week 2